I know you don't. I know you do everything you can to
but
avoid.
I'm being fair.
I know you do everything you can to avoid data.
I'm not avoiding data. I'm not avoiding data. I'm asking people. This is what I mean to listen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being honest with you, and I'm saying that I need to see the data that confirms that. It doesn't make any sense that racism in this country be rising rather than falling. Because in the 80s, white people used to come out and literally like assault black people in the day. You get what I'm saying? But now that doesn't happen. So it's obviously there was
now it's black people assaulting white people. And they don't even get punished for it.
Well, they do get punished.
To be fair to him, he stood up against BLM.
Yeah, I don't agree with BLM. I don't agree with any race realism groups. I don't agree with any of that.
Right, but think about it. If everything is fair and some groups do better economically than others, then it makes sense that the people at the bottom are going to think of a rape and revenge myth in order to get more resources, even though it's actually just them making bad decisions.
Well, there's different factors. It's not just making bad decisions. There are unfortunately political things that stop black people. But I'm not using this kind of rhetoric. I'm not trying to say that
black people in the 60s.
Kangs and all. I don't. The reason why is because I hate Black Lives Matter. I just hate them. I'm it doesn't suit.
But you understand why they exist. You know, there's no reason. There's a reason why.
There's crybabies. There's lesbian crybabies. There's SJW crybabies. It doesn't matter. And in fact, the majority of Black Lives Matter people are white people.
Yeah.
So it's the left.
Yeah, but
we're not the entire people.
I understand. As black people, we've been mutated in the sense that we've become overly motherly. You know, we're overly caring about people, and if women are having children, then they see. No, it's true. You know, the psychology is all feminine based, and that's why Black Lives Matter.
No, I think the culture, the society, not the culture, but the governmental structure is very feminine, and it's pandering to biology. Female, biology. But that's true.
It used to be very masculine.
That's true to the growth in like LGBT acceptance, the growth in like the older values, the Christian values that people rejecting has caused, and that's right.
Yeah, but they rejected them under certain biological systems. Like, alright, women, you know, they used to be the most religious because that's biology. That's what women do. That's their part of their biology.
No,
it is. No, it's the same now. Religion is now left feminine. The principles are the same. Just change the religion.
It's the wealth because after the Enlightenment, remember after the Enlightenment, people tended to reject religion for philosophy, like they did during the time of the Greeks.
What happened is
Immanuel Kant, other people like that.
What happened is the age of faith. That's when the church started falling. The age of faith was had an alternative to the age of reason. Islam has never had a problem. Islam rejects the right.
Islam is generally spread by these souls.
No, Islam rejects the right.
It's very victorious.
Alhamdulillah, Islam is immune to it.
Once they bring in Sharia law, that's it. You're imbibed and principles by that law. Whereas this country is more accepting other religions. You'll be paying the jizya if you're in their country. So their religion is based off of governmental control anyway.
Actually, Islam had the reason they had the golden age is because they weren't as strict as they later became. They actually accepted all sorts of different thinkers from
right, but you have to pay the jizya.
Right. You
have to pay the jizya, so you'll be paying the jizya.
Right. So
go far.
I'll be collecting.
Exactly. Muslims value technology.
Ron, daily jizya. I'm a jizya collector, Ron.
Women started coming to the house.
Call the police.
There was a lot more feminine players and even gay and all that stuff, and then they got destroyed by them.
Right, the Ottoman Empire. So during the Ottoman Empire, during the reign of many sultans, that stuff like that. There was this growth and push for a movement of more tougher Islamic law. In the stead, that they were of that idea where they were like, basically like the sultans were of that idea. They wanted to push it further down the line and would do it by any means necessary. But this is all embedded within the religion itself. They're pushing the law against apostasy. They're pushing to go and fight the unbelievers. That's what it said in Surah 1916. No, in Surah 99. country.
Right. But remember,
it says to fight the unbelievers. So things like that, embedded in the text, are gonna lead people to those parts. It has nothing to do with
but it depends on the circumstances. Like you could say there was a time where the Ottoman Empire treated Jews better than any Christian countries. You know, and then it reversed. And then
again, you use that ideal, but they also enslaved Jews, and they also made them pay the dues. They also turned them into janissaries. Do you know what janissaries are? Yeah, janissaries were the one they used to go out. They used to use Jews to go out and kill other people. So that's what janissaries are.
Right. But my point is that when Europe became enlightened, and therefore it became better for Jews and non-Muslims to live under Christian countries than it was living under the Ottoman rules. So
the Ottoman Empire eventually died out anyway.
Yeah, but the Ottoman Empire died out on certain circumstances because remember they were at a great strategic location to take take advantage of the Silk Road. So getting all those expensive luxury goods, they could pay taxes on it and pay Europe. And then the Portuguese and Spanish found alternative ways to skip using the Ottomans to get the luxury goods, and by going around Africa into China and getting it directly from them instead of paying those taxes. And that made the Ottomans weak and therefore got bogged and weren't able to expand like the European countries did into America and going around into Asia, finding new trade routes, occupying India.
No, it was eventual that the Ottoman Empire ended. At the end of the day, it was not. Just to get back to the point, I don't want to get too steeped into the Ottoman Empire's history. I'm talking about the point is the religiosity of the text matters. And when texts like that say that you should fight the unbelievers and kill them wherever you find them, and other stuff, not just that, there's other sources mentioned. That's obviously going to be a major problem. Embedded in the text if somebody just reads it and decides to go and do it. That's why you have sects like jihadis and wahhabis to go out and do this stuff. Or like Salafis. Some people disagree with some people. I don't know. That's why you have those wicked sects that go out and do that, because it's embedded in the text. And that's why those things happen. Islam was initially spread by the sword. There's been imams who have come out and said that.
Right, but do you think Christians spread Christianity by the sword?
Oh.
What about the Spanish conquistadors in South America?
Again, first of all, that was well after Christianity's early inception. So that was well after that. And secondly, the conquistadors, you've got to understand what is Christian. You've got to understand that. You have to first understand fundamentally what is Christian. And Christian is Christ-like. That's what it means. So anything that diverts from that point, in those aspects, is not going to be Christ-like. Just with the early Crusades, people bring up the Crusades and say that those Christians who went out and fought. And right, we're not denying it. But the problem is, calling somebody like that a Christian, even if they were the emperor, they're not doing what is Christ-like. So going out and butchering kids in Jerusalem,
yeah, but they're doing it because it's part of their group strategy.
No, Pope Urban wanted because basically the Celtic Turks, the Celtic Turks were butchering kids and women and children in the Middle East. So Pope Urban called for people to go down there and to stop the violence and to end it. But instead of doing that, the Second Crusade, the Second Line of Crusades went out, and instead of doing that, they decided to go and rummage through things, steal things, and then they ended up pushing people into Jerusalem, which they were not called to do. They were just called to defend the population of these Christians who have been attacked by the Celtic Turks or the Muslims, but they weren't Celtic Turks.
But do you think that the knights and the nobles of Europe were more convinced to take up the crusade, not so much for spiritual salvation, but for personal wealth and land, and to establish trade routes through the Silk Road, in that location where
not the first crusade. No, that was just that was a reaction to the Celtic Turks.
The Principality of Antioch, they split from the crusade because they just wanted to occupy that area where it's like Damascus and Antioch.
This is what I mean. I will agree with you there. Because even with the later Crusades, there was certain, when the royal families...
They didn't care about going to Jerusalem, they just wanted to get that nice
but that's the thing,
strategic trade.
The Crusades are not really a good impression of Christian history, even though it is a part of it, and those people have claimed to be Christian. It's like the real fact of the matter is what is written in the body of the text and what is actually there and who Christ is and what Christ is.
Yes, but people
not what a crusader did in that past. While those things are not acceptable, they're wrong. While butchering kids is wrong, and I agree with that. But it's about what Christ is. Christ is the foundation for all Christianity.
Right, but
and if you're not acting like Christ and you're going out and butchering kids,
well, there are Christians who...
remember, it was Christ who said, be like one of these little children to be saved. It's like, you stay with them.
Right,
like,
yeah, and then when Christ says in the second coming, I have not come to
bring the sword,
peace,
division.
bring the sword.
What he actually means there, he's saying, I have come to bring the sword division, not a literal sword. The division is his word.
No, he becomes a badass.
This is what I mean.
He becomes a badass.
The division is his word.
Jesus
if
becomes
I preach
a badass.
If I preach,
he has a white beard, white horse, white clothes, and a big ass sword that kill the unbelievers. You know, crucify this motherfucker.
You're reading this text. No. Christ, in using those terms, is saying he came to bring the sword, division. Turn mother against father, daughter against son. That's what it's no, it's not you changing the translation. He literally didn't say, I want to bring the sword so you can kill people. No. He literally said to show that there will be division between families.
People bring swords.
And that's the truth.
What are swords used?
His word, his message has divided families.
What are swords
if I'm of a Muslim family and I decide I'm going to be Christian, that Muslim family's not going to like me anymore. It's just a fact.
What are swords used?
You're not understanding what I'm saying. This is why you read the books. This is why you study theology. You don't just come to me and say, oh, Christ came to bring the sword. No. You study it. Just like the Muslims. If I said I'm going to read their book, I'll study their book first before coming to them and saying, oh, you're this, you're that, and your book says this. No, you read it first.
So when Muslims...
It's simple as that.
Yeah, but you won't tolerate Muslims, you know, skipping around certain texts in their Quran, like, Aisha wasn't 11, it was symbolic.
No, that wasn't in the Quran, that's in the Hadith.
Oh, Hadith, right.
And that's not skipping around. If it says that Aisha had sex, Muhammad consummated marriage with Aisha at 9, if it says that clearly in the Hadith, that's not me skipping over the text and reading something different into it. That's what the Hadith say.
Right, but you're saying it for what it is. Right?
Yes.
And I'm saying for what Jesus said, I bring a sword for what it is. What a sword is used for.
But the problem is that even the language he was using was metaphorical, whereas the language there being used wasn't metaphorical. In the Hadith, it's a story being told. In a sense, he's relaying historically what had happened according to Hadith. With Jesus, he often told parables. So you knew at this point he wasn't speaking literally in the literal sense. Just like he says, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. He wasn't saying literally cut off your hand. He was saying stop doing what you're doing, like masturbating or holding a gun or whatever. Stop doing that. Stop doing what causes you to sin. That's what he meant. So in a sense, it is metaphorical language. Whereas the terms used in that hadith are not meant to be metaphorical in any sense. They're related to what the Prophet did at that time. According to their own hadith, it's not metaphorical.
But the Knights Templars took the image of the cross and shaped it into a sword. That is not coincidence.
Oh, man. Now you're just on correlation. This is why I don't really like getting too into it.
Come on, then why don't you want there to be these badass Christians that do see Jesus as a warrior, as a badass?
Jesus was a warrior, but Jesus was also
with
love.
A sword.
Jesus was
with a sword.
And also love as well. Jesus was
yes,
also
it
love.
Doesn't mean he can't kill people.
Right, he didn't come to kill people. That's what I mean. I'm talking about what the text says.
In fact, there's a Gnostic text where Jesus got
Gnostic text
where Jesus got pushed by a boy, and then Jesus got revenge by just looking at him and killed him.
What Gnostic? I'm sorry, I don't read Gnostic text.
Yeah, but think about it.
Out by the church.
But think about it. There was loads of Christians who wanted to romanticize Jesus' story in more different ways.
No, but they're not Christians then.
Why not?
Because they didn't follow the traditions of the church. The Holy Apostolic Catholic Church, they did not follow it. I'm not talking about the Catholic Church in the sense of the Roman Catholic Church. I'm talking what was considered the Catholic Church during the time of Paul.
Right.
So from the earliest gatherings of the earliest collections of the Gospels up until now, that church, that foundation, that both the Orthodox and the Catholics split up from, and the Protestants eventually split up with Martin Luther. So that's a normal story. But basically, that church, I'm talking about the foundation. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. But what's the matter if people have different interpretations of Jesus' character?
It matters because Jesus is the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. If somebody has
everyone has a different conception of the truth. A different conception of Jesus.
No, but again, God is
some Christians who see Jesus as a warrior. There's some Christians that see Jesus as a hippie. There's some Christians that will see Jesus as, I don't know, you get my point.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but God is the objective truth. So when through his text, his body of text, we should know him, and we should judge him by his objective truth, not what other people say, not what a Gnostic says.
Not everyone has the same objective truth, you know.
Not what the Gnostic says. We should judge it by what it is. And I'm not saying there aren't people like the oneness Christians who don't believe that Jesus is God. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying
you understand why they think
fundamentally, they're not going to be believing that Jesus was the son of the devil. They're not going to believe. So for somebody else to bring in their interpretation doesn't work. You see what I'm saying?
Well, then you understand why Christians felt that you couldn't reconcile Jesus with the Old Testament God, because they're very different characters. People cannot reconcile Jesus with the Old Testament God, because they're very different characters.
No, again, this is the correlation. You need to understand first the history of what was happening during the time of the Israelite covenant. In order to do that, you need to read the books. But the Israelite covenant was given to Israel. So the things that he did, like giving the cities in the hands of Joshua. That's why Joshua was allowed to go out and fight and take over. Things like that were because of the Israelite covenant and because of the time. You've got to look at the time period. People at that time were very barbaric. So God decided to make a covenant with them to encourage them to follow his path. But they weren't just going to follow. Many different times in the Bible, the Israelites turn away and they decide not to do that which they've been told to. So for example, in Judges, God anoints judges to watch other people so they'll follow his laws and keep his commandments and they won't break them, right? Each time, every judge decides not to do that. And they decide to follow their own laws and their own ideas of what is good and what is not. And at the end of the book of Judges, if you read, want me to show you it? I'll show you it right now. By the end of the book of Judges, and read up for yourself, it says, everybody did what was right in their eyes, and nobody followed them. And that was a problem. In order for God to truly heal his people, he had to bring in a covenant so they would work through that. And in order to do that, he had to work through their ideals of right and wrong. And their ideals of right and wrong was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
That's not even to medieval Europe happening in Judges.
Right, but I don't know why you're changing the topic completely. Because
you're saying that
you're talking about how Jesus was different from the Old Testament God. I'm showing you there was a reason why the Old Testament God had to do what he was doing. During that time, the Israelites themselves, and these were God's supposed chosen people, they sacrificed their children. So what they'll do is they'll get this statue called Molech, and they would burn it. And basically they would stick their babies onto it and set fire to sacrifice to the gods.
Yeah, the mothers had to watch about Christ.
Yeah, and they would do this continuously. They would have sex outside of marriage. They would have incest, orgies, which spreading diseases. They would murder each other.
This never happened in Christian kingdoms.
No, listen to what I'm just listen to what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you that over time, if you read the books, because there's about 66 books in the Old Testament. So you read through them, even through the Deuterocanonical books, if you read through them, you can understand why God had to behave that way around those certain people and why that had to happen. Even in Genesis 15:16, God says, after 400 years, the iniquity is worse. The iniquity of the Israelites will increase. I'm trying to explain theology to this guy.
Yeah, homies, how's it going?
Oh, you are.
How's it going?
Why are you hugging me?
Come here, full homo, bro.
Yeah, no, it's not full homo. It's weird.
Yeah.